Hey everybody, it's Spirit, and today we are doing another Archetype 101, today covering the other yellow archetype of set 13, Supreme Rivalry, Future Gohan, a character that people have been asking for, demanding for so long, finally has his own archetype, and it's a pretty cool one, just on top of that. But of course, guys, before we get started, if you want to pick up any of the cards that I've talked about in today's 101, I have to point you guys over to 3Man Inc., the best place to get all your DBS singles and sealed product guaranteed. And if you want to watch me pilot decks like these, I go live on Twitch every Monday through Thursday and on weekends during tournaments, so a link to that will be down in the description. But with that said, we'll just jump right into the overview of Future Gohan. Now, as a quick brief, it is a blocker focused archetype. Not only are you getting out blockers multiple times, but you have cards in your archetype that allow you to get multiple usage out of your blockers, restanding your cards, and when your blockers die, then you're pumping out more cards, of which are a big finisher, of which are just more blockers. And a lot of the deck is focused around basically being a Trunks turbo deck. If you like your Future Trunkses as much as you like your Future Gohans, this is the deck for you, because this deck does everything it can to get out Trunks, and it loves having Trunks on board. But of course, everything starts off with the leader. Here we have Son Gohan. Auto, when this card attacks, draw one card. Burst 3 auto, when one of your yellow battle cards with blocker skill is KO'd, draw 2 cards, then add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left, and then flip this card over. Alternative awakening condition, we love to see it, especially the ones that give us above 4. 6 is a really awesome spot, really good with Gotenks, really good here in Son Gohan. Alternatively, you could just awaken the regular way at 4 life or less. You get to draw 1 card, switch one of your energy to active mode, and then flip him over to where we have SS Son Gohan, Hope of the Resistance. Auto, when this card attacks, draw 1 card, then choose up to one of your yellow Trunks future cards, and it gets 5k power and critical for the turn. So turning our bodies on board to even more threatening attacks, as well as giving an extra keyword to even the finisher of the deck, which we're going to see in a moment. Then he has an additional auto, choose one of your mono yellow Trunks future cards. When your opponent attacks, switch the chosen card to active mode, and it gets 6k power for the turn. Negate the skill for the turn. And this is where I mean you're going to get double usage out of your blockers. You have a lot of cards that you're able to just pick it, restand it. So it does 2 things. Not only do you actually get double usage out of your Trunkses, but 2, it actually can take 1 away from being attacked into, protecting it for the rest of the turn, at least against attacks. And it really allows the leader to really focus on protecting and utilizing your Trunkses on board. Usually here we would talk about the finisher, but it just makes sense to talk about the entirety of the chain to get to the finisher. And it all starts off with Trunks, Warrior of Hope, a 1-cost unique 5k battle card with an auto. When one of your yellow Son Gohan future cards is KO'd by an opponent attack or removed from your battle area by one of your opponent's skills, play up to 1 yellow Trunks future card with an energy cost of 3 from your deck on top of this card, and then shuffle your deck. So this card's on board, it sees your Gohan die or leave or whatever it may be, you go get the 3-drop. 3-drop comes in, Super Saiyan Trunks to change the future, 20k barrier blocker, evolve for 1 yellow. So if you don't want to go through using a skill to get him out, you can just pay the 1 yellow to pop him on top. And then he has an activate main for double yellow. If your leader card is a yellow Son Gohan future and you have 4 or more mono yellow energy. So it does only cost 2, but you're not going to be able to get him off until turn 4. Choose up to 1 of your mono yellow Trunks future cards with an energy cost of 8 in your hand and play it on top of this card in active mode. You can't activate the activating skills of copies on this card for the turn. So balance here, but it's on active mode, which is great. You're going to get a 20k swing with this card before you go off and go into the final stage, which is Trunks Might Born of Hope. 8 cost, 4 specified yellow, 30k double striking, barrier, dual attacking, blocker. Lots of keywords here with an evolve cost of 4. So these cards very versatile in that you can chain them up or you can evo them depending on the state of the game, which is really flexible. Then he has an activate main. Once per turn, if this card is in rest mode, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and up to 1 of their energy in rest mode, and the chosen cards can't be switched to active mode until the end of your opponent's next turn. So a big beefy attacker that can attack twice for 2 life. It can then be a blocker afterwards, so it's a barrier blocker 30k on your turn, which your leader can restand, and you can even give it critical. So it does a lot of things here, which is very cool. A very big beefy attacker that is going to be very hard to get off board. It doesn't have deflect, so there are some windows in there that you can potentially prevent them from hitting board depending on the colors you are playing. Then there's the consistency pieces. There's Sun Gohan Warrior of Hope, 1 cost 4k permanent. When your life is at 6 or less, this card gains a blocker, which allows you to even help even more so be able to proc off your, oh hey, did Gohan leave the board, from your previous Trunks. Auto, if your leader card is a Sun Gohan Future card and you place 1 card in your drop area from your life, when this card is played from your hand, play up to 1 Yellow Trunks Future card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. Gives us some self-awakening if we need it. Additionally, allows us to get our pieces into the board. So it's effectively like running, you know, copies 5 through 8 of your 1-drop Trunks. Then we have SS Sun Gohan Desperate Last Stand, 10k blocker auto. If your leader card is a yellow Sun Gohan Future card, when this card is removed from your battle by an opponent's skill or activate its blocker skill, play up to 1 Yellow Trunks Future card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck, then shuffle your deck. So this is the one that's not going to cost you life, and you can actually do it multiple times. Now, it does have unique, mind you, keep that in mind. But if you evo the 1 cost, you can go get yourself another one the turn afterwards if you just keep on proccing blocker, which is kind of cool. So here we have multiple ways of being able to get Trunks out, and this is really where the Trunks turbo aspect of the deck comes in. You have so many ways of being able to make sure you can get your chain off the ground, and each piece of the chain can go into it. You can go up via the skills, or you can place on top via the evos. So there's a lot of flexibility there in terms of making sure you're actually able to get off your boss monster once everything is set up. Then there's the check plays. A lot of cards really want to see Trunks on board, and you're able to benefit from that via these cards. Here we have SS Vegeta Trusted Ally, 2 cost 10k unique critical auto. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less in a rest mode and KO it. Removal is always sweet, especially when we can activate Battle It in for 1 yellow. And if you have a Trunks Future card with an energy cost of 3 or more in play this card from your hand, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. So 1 cost 10k critical, which is sweet, as well as giving you the benefit that you can just pop your opponent's card on their turn, which is really flexible. Activate Battle to be able to play a card is always phenomenal timing, because it really gives your opponent less windows to deal with it, as well as can screw up things with like combat math and all that jazz. Of course, if we got a Vegeta, you always know we have a Goku. 2 cost 10k SS Sun Goku Trusted Ally. When this card is played, choose up to 1 of your mono yellow Trunks Future cards with an energy cost of 2 in rest mode, switch attack mode. Again, even more usage out of our blockers, which we love to see. And once again, activate Battle if there's a Trunks card with an energy cost of 3 or more on board. Then you get to play this card, and you can't play copies. And then finally, we have SS Sun Goku, the Hero Returns, 2 cost 10k auto. When this card is played, choose this card and up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less, and send them to their owner's warps. At the end of the turn, negate the skills of the cards that are warped and bring them back. So you're effectively killing the tempo that your opponent has access to. And the best part is that this is for free, because activate Battle if you have a yellow Trunks Future card with an energy cost of 3 or more in play this card from your hand, and you can't play copies of this card for the turn. So this can really screw with your opponent's tempo. You know, let's say they're relying on a card on board to be a part of their chain. Well, now you can get rid of that chain. So there's a lot of utility here, especially with the fact that you can do it for no energy. And with the amount of cards that are being played for free in this game now, it's a really great value. Then there are the support cards. We have Piccolo Trusted Ally, 3 cost 15k, deflect blocker, so he's guaranteed hit the board. Auto, when this card is played from your hand, choose up to 1 yellow Sun Gohan Childhood or Sun Gohan Future card with an energy cost of 2 or less in your deck or hand, play it, then shuffle your deck if you looked through it. For this archetype specifically in set 13, you're really looking for the Future Trunks, but it's nice that this does synergize with any childhood Sun Gohans for future or previous archetypes. Then we have Sun Gohan Trusted Ally, 1 cost 4k auto. If your leader card is yellow, when this card is discarded from your hand by an opponent's skill, play this card from your drop area. Auto, when this card is played, draw 1 card. So we've been seeing more of these cards in different colors, and they just serve as really good answers. I mean, they're not amazing or anything, but they are cards that you can tech in that allow you to counteract what hand destruction is trying to do. And it feels like we haven't had too many ways to be able to deal with that in the past, ever since they got rid of the silver bullet. So the fact that they're finally reprinting cards that allow us to counteract our opponent ripping cards out of our hand is great. Then on the defense, we actually have a slew of cards here. Fierce Awakening, 1 cost counterattack. Choose up to 1 of your Yellow Trunks Future battle cards in active mode, and it gains Revenge for the turn. So now your blocker that can potentially block 3-4 times can potentially wipe out your opponent's entire board if he's just going to carelessly attack in. So this could very much be one of those cards that buys you an entire whole turn, depending on what your opponent's board looks like. Then activate Battle for 1 yellow. You get to choose up to 1 of your yellow Trunks Future battle cards and switch it to active mode, and it gets 15k power and has its skills negated for the turn. So if you just want to make sure that you can punch in your opponent with the Trunks you're playing, well, this is one way to do it. You turn into a vanilla, but on top of being a vanilla, you get a 15k boost, which sometimes might just be enough for what you need in regards to, well, either protecting the card or using it as an attacker. Then we have the futures in your hands. 1 cost counterattack, negate the attack, activate battle, choose this card in your drop area and 1 card in your hand and send them to your warp. Choose up to 1 of your mono yellow Trunks future battle cards, and it can't be KO'd by your opponent's attacks for the battle. So now you're creating basically an indestructible blocker, which is pretty sweet. So again, just more ways to get your blocker that's going to be able to restand turn over and over and over again, and making him really hard to remove, basically buying you a whole extra turn. And it's really cool that you can tack this on top of the fact that the activate battle works after you negate the attack, which is some nice combination there. Negate the attack, use the activate battle afterwards, pretty sweet. Then we have Bulma, Hope for a Better Future, 2 cost 10k super combo. This is the one being that it works really well if you're using another super combo beforehand, giving it an additional 60k, making this basically an 11k super combo. Now they do work worse by themselves, but whenever you're accompanied by another combo card, they go up another level in regards to being effectively another 5k combo in your hand, which is super awesome to mesh in with your other super combos. And finally, we have the power of a Super Saiyan. 1 cost SR negate, a huge negate for the archetype and for yellow in general. Counter attack, negate the attack permanent. If you have 1 or more yellow energy in active mode, you can activate this card's activate battle skill from your hand without paying its energy cost. Activate battle. If your lead card is mono yellow, draw 1 card, then choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards or Unison cards, which is very flexible. Switch it to rest mode. You can't activate battle skills on copies of this card for the turn. This card is incredibly good, incredibly versatile, and deals with a huge amount of things and really warp the way yellow players play their deck, as well as ways players need to play against yellow moving forward. Then to bring it together, we do have the Unison SS Trunks Altering the Future, 3 specified cost 20k dual attacker. Activate main for 0. Choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and switch it to rest mode. If that card has an energy cost of 4 or less, negate its skills for the turn and KO it. That's really annoying. It's really good, especially the fact that it negates the skills. We have so many floater effects in Dragon Ball now that the fact that we can prevent that from happening is really sweet. Then -3, activate main, draw 1 card, then choose all your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO them. Board wipes are super awesome. The more and more we have in the game, I think the more versatile, control, and slower decks you're going to be able to become. And I love seeing it on Unisons as well, just because of how hard Unisons are to interact with. So this card is really good. Like, don't get me wrong, it does what it does really well. But the fact that it doesn't plus is kind of tough. But on top of that is a 20k though. 20k Unisons are so incredibly hard to deal with. So on that front, I think the fact that it doesn't have a plus ability, while it does make it worse, definitely is okay and mitigated by its huge power. And that wraps up Future Gohan, a sweet archetype that allows you to spam blockers over and over again, turbo out Trunks as much as you can, and has a big beefy final boss that effectively can have 5 keywords on top of doing a bunch of other things. It really serves to be a strong archetype, and one that looks like it's going to be really consistent. How would you guys build this deck? Honestly, Future Gohan, I know, has been a character people have been raging to be able to play as a leader in this game, and you've finally gotten it. I'd love to know what your takes would be in the comments down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Hey, if you dislike it, thumbs down works too. If you want to watch more of my videos, we're covering the rest of the archetypes for the rest of set 13. Subscribe button's in the corner. With that said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao.